Hello there, Splendids.
Ay, 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 ay.
Hey, look who it is. Hello, Chai. Say hello to me. Say hello to the audience. Look. Look. It's a little doggy. My little Ewokie.
Alright, I'm going to put you down, okay? Love you, boy. Love you. Go on. Anyway, hello my kaiju friends, all my kaiju warriors, Dragon Ball Z, any of us, Predator, Star Wars, you name it, all the other nerds out there. I just want to say hello, welcome to JC Entertainment, I'm a nerd. Yes, heard it before. Now the video I'm going to be reacting today, now some of you have been asking me to do this, a Triceratops versus an Ankylosaurus. Ankylosaurus. I hope I said that right. But anyway, so, there's who would win in a fight between these two? Me personally, I want to say, I'm sick. I don't care who wins. I love them, but me, I'm going for Triceratops. Who you guys going for? Let me know. Whoever you're going for. And it's made by Goji Center, the one and only Goji Center. Anyway, sorry, my dog's just looking at me. So fluffy. Anyway, let's get watching this. Headphones, play. Say it with me. Ding ding. Good.
Today, the most armed herbivorous land animal of all time
Let's
will
go.
face the most armored land animal to ever walk the earth. That's right, folks. You're about to witness what would happen if a Triceratops runs into the Ankylosaurus. We will discuss weapons, armor,
They would never
intelligence,
fight,
and
just
more
showing it 'cause
to
they're both
determine the winner
herbivores.
of this fight. So if this is your first time here, take a split second
Ooh,
to hit that
lovely.
like and subscribe button so you can see more content like this. Goji Center now presents Triceratops versus the Ankylosaurus.
Ankylosaurus. Let's
Before
go.
we begin, I'd like to show you some footage of me playing Mech Arena, our sponsor. Right now, I'm playing in the 5v5 mode, which is my favorite. Before you start, you need to pick one of your mechs, and we're off. I'm the type of guy that likes to attack from the flanks or elevated areas, and boom, first opponent down. And there goes another one. I got blown up, so now I'm going to respawn using another mech. This one has a thermal lance, haha. It moves slower, but it has more hit points. There are other mechs that I could use, such as this one, which you use to ram your opponents and blow them
Oh,
up.
Jesus.
In this mode, the team that destroys the most mechs in 3 rounds wins. And you can see that we won. And I got
yes.
MVP. This is Mech Arena, folks. There's never a dull moment here. It's free to play on Android and iOS, and it's the first ever mobile game to capture the magic of playing PC and console shooters with your friends.
Splendid.
Note that this is a skill-based game, so it will definitely put your tactics to the test. So guys, jump on this game right now, because there are new events happening that let you earn daily welcome rewards, such as new weapons, including the all-new disc launcher. You will also get a chance to get your hands on some Halloween skins that you can earn in this seasonal event. So if you want to blow things up with me in this game, you can use my personal link or just scan this QR code. By using these links, you will get the Forest Digital Skin, 200 A-coins, and 10,000 credits.
Love it.
Don't forget to add Goji Center so we can play some matches and wreck some mechs. Thanks to Mech Arena for sponsoring this video, and now, let's get back to
Let
our
them
dinosaur
fight. Let's go. Come
showdown.
on.
If you know anything about dinosaurs, you will know that our contestants are herbivorous creatures. Animals that spend all day munching on veggies are usually perceived as docile pushovers that do nothing but fill the lower ranks of the food chain. If that's you, then you are incorrect. And if you think Triceratops and Ankylosaurus would never run into each other and fight, well, you might also be wrong there. In the real world, confrontations between armored and unarmored
yes, they do.
herbivores
Sorry,
happen
that
on a
was
daily
me.
basis, and in many cases result in a fatal aftermath. So why would a Triceratops and an Ankylosaurus bother fighting? The answer is simple: resources. These animals' instinctual default behaviors drive them to find the stuff that keeps them alive, such as food and water. Therefore, any obstruction to a limited resource
that
will
was my
now be
mistake, guys.
considered
Sorry,
a
yes, they
threat.
would fight over
And
that.
now,
Yes, that's
ladies
correct.
and gentlemen,
Sorry, that was me.
we have a fight. Triceratops was the largest ceratopsian in the Cretaceous period, measuring up to 30 feet in length and close to 10 feet tall. The largest bull Triceratops specimens could have weighed up to 11.6 tons, making this a formidable foe for literally any land animal to ever exist. Let's not ignore the fact that this dinosaur's
Beast.
most armored area takes up almost a third of its body. This
That's-
1,000-pound head will be the main weapon this animal will use against its opponent. Its adversary, the Ankylosaurus, was perhaps the most heavily armored dinosaur
It's
during
a
this time
walking
period.
tank.
Measuring up to 26 feet in length with a height of up to 6 feet, this guy wasn't necessarily as large as a Triceratops, but it didn't need to be. We will talk about why later.
It's
If we compare
literally
these
a
animals
tank.
side by side, it's easy to draw conclusions. Your conclusions may be right after all, but to learn more, let us now enter the analysis platform. Intelligence. Measuring the intelligence of an extinct dinosaur can be quite difficult, especially if you're only left with fossils and brain cavities. Because of this, a system known as EQ, or encephalization quotient, is used to give us a less blurry idea of their cognitive potential. These rankings are based on brain to body size ratios, meaning that the bigger your brain is compared to your body, the more intelligent you could be. Ceratopsians and Ankylosaurids are located in the lower ranks of this chart. As you can see,
Right.
these guys fall behind the Troodontids, Carnosaurus, Crocs, and Ornithopods. The EQ of Ceratopsians, however, ranks above the Ankylosaurids,
So
meaning that
they're
it is likely
intelligent.
that this whole family of dinosaurs is estimated to be smarter, or less dumb than the Ankylosaurids. Brain to body size ratios
Not
shouldn't be
very
the only
nice.
metric taken into account. Just because an animal's brain is smaller does not mean it's dumb. The brain of a Triceratops was very likely tubular in shape. Most of it was made up of its olfactory bulb, which was responsible for its sense of smell. The frontal lobe, however, the part that does the
true.
actual thinking and problem solving, was not developed compared to other smarter dinosaurs. Although not very smart, this animal made up for it with its highly developed senses and well-tuned instinctive behaviors. They were probably intelligent enough to understand the capabilities of their weapons.
what a
Take
shot.
rhinos, for example. Although not the brightest of mammals, they understand how to use those horns to gore up an opponent. What about the Ankylosaurus? Having a heavily armored head came at a price.
Once
These
again,
thick
an
skulls
armored
made
tank.
little room for brain casing, with most of it devoted to the sense of smell. What's left of the brain was most likely delegated to the remaining senses and cognition. Being creatures that would only eat, sleep, breed, and repeat, anything or anyone that interrupted this routine would most likely
Feed
trigger its
me.
defensive instincts, which in this case involves the knowledge of how to use their club.
And they're
An
mainly
instinctual
roamed
response
alone. They like to
passed
be
down
alone.
for many
Don't say like in
generations.
groups of 3 or 2.
And that's as far as it
Or on their
goes.
own.
Almost no problem solving happening here. When your only issue in life is an interruption from eating or breeding, all you really need is a heavy club to swat away the problem. Both of these animals were not that smart, but one was dumber than the other. For this battle attribute, Triceratops
accurate,
takes
yes,
the edge
facts.
for battle intelligence. Defense. Being animals
Well,
that
that's
could
obvious. It's
endure
gonna
and
be
survive
the
attacks from a
Ankylosaurus.
T-Rex only meant that they were equipped with armor that could withstand a
Oh,
barrage of attacks. But who can withstand more? The Triceratops' main defensive body part was its massive frill that made up almost half of its entire skull length. There are many theories that claim that this frill's purpose was more for display than for defense. In response to
Intimidation,
these
display,
claims,
or
Andrew
mating.
Fark conducted a brief observational study that recorded injury patterns in the skulls of Triceratops and Centrosaurus specimens. Why? Well, both of these dinosaur skulls are different in that their horns are arranged in opposite fashions. The reasoning was simple. 1. If these animals did indeed fight each other, then the position of their horns would have led to different ways of fighting. And as time went by, these injuries would appear in different locations of their body. 2. If the frills and horns were only used for display, then both of these animals would fight in a similar manner and have injuries on the same spots other than their skulls. The results? Both of these guys had injuries on their skulls, but Triceratops had 10 times more on the squamosal bone, meaning that these dinosaurs had to lower their heads and engage in the interlocking of horns. So yes, these frills were likely suited for defense.
elephants in a way,
The
and
Ankylosaurus,
deer
on the other hand,
and
did not have
mooses.
a frill, but it did have plenty of
That's
these
the animal's
circular
name.
bony plates covering its body. These are known as osteoderms. Other animals of the Ankylosaur family had these as well, except they were dense and heavy. Not the Ankylosaurus. These osteoderms were thinner in comparison to its other relatives, but were strengthened by cushions of collagen fibers which were embedded into the bone tissue. This provided armor that was more lightweight, but just as resistant as its relatives. The osteoderms ranged from a mere half an inch to 14 inches in diameter, and they were accompanied by a very thick hide. The only downside to this armor is that it only covered the upper part of its body. Anything below these areas would have been unprotected and vulnerable to damage. Could these withstand a Triceratops horn? Yes and no. These osteoderms could stop teeth and claws, but a 3.3-foot horn pressing on a small pressure point could pierce this hide or the gaps between the osteoderms. The only thing that would prevent this is the Ankylosaurus posture. Remember, this guy is only 6 feet tall. An Ankylosaurus lowering its body would make it difficult for the trike to lower its head enough to angle its horns in a piercing position. These horns would simply scrape the surface. In terms of overall armor, it is clear that the Ankylosaurus's armor covers a larger part of its body than the Triceratops, giving it the edge for overall defensive attributes.
Oh, yes.
Locomotion. The Triceratops was ironically one of the most agile of all the ceratopsians. This guy was something else. Take a look at this dinosaur's leg structure. While its back legs are positioned like a rhino's, the front legs are splayed outward like a lizard. These strong forelimbs allowed the Triceratops to turn really fast in any direction while always facing its opponent. This animal's agility does not end here. It is estimated that a fully grown Triceratops could run up to 15 miles per hour. Admittedly, that is not very fast compared to other more nimble dinosaurs, but it is a considerable speed for this specific battle. The Ankylosaurus, on the other hand, was not as agile. Its leg anatomy was not similar to the Triceratops. Its legs were also much shorter, meaning that each stride covers less ground. The combination of this stubby build and heavy armor puts its top speed around 6 miles per hour. The only agile part of this animal's body would have been its hind legs and tail, as these would have to move quickly to wind up a blow using its main weapon.
What a shot.
But in overall agility and speed, the Triceratops takes the edge thanks to its leg anatomy.
Facts.
Now, let's get to the fun stuff. Short-range weaponry. Triceratops is mostly known for its pair of deadly horns on its head, capable of withstanding up to 36,000 pounds of force. These horns were covered in a thick layer of keratin, the stuff that your nails are made out of. Measuring more than 3 feet long, these were capable of piercing deep into an opponent's torso and piercing the lungs and heart. Any strike aimed at any limbs would also cause severe injuries and render them useless. In addition to their strong composition, these were aimed using an advanced evolutionary mechanism known today as a ball socket joint. This is the closest nature has gotten to a perfect sphere. This allowed the Triceratops to move its head in a circular motion. But as mentioned previously, this Triceratops would first lower its head and gore at the opponent. This joint was more than enough to accomplish this. Before we move on, let's address the fact that there were some variations within the Triceratops genus. Meet Triceratops horridus and Triceratops prorsus. These two species differed in the length of their snouts and nose horns, but fossil discoveries also make it evident that their horns looked different, at least for the fully grown specimens. These horn variations could both inflict severe damage, but the curvature of these would affect how these would work against an Ankylosaurus. The upwards curvature in a mature horridus specimen is more likely to damage the undersides of an Ankylosaurus, but the forward bend on the prorsus species will make it more difficult to reach. Now that we're talking about the Ankylosaurus, let us introduce you to its main weapon, its tail, which had two components, the handle and the knob. This part of the tail was composed of very thick tendons, which were ossified. This means that they were so concentrated that they turned into bony tissue. As a result, this tail was better suited to inflict fatal impacts. It has been estimated that this tail could move in a 100-degree range of motion. A study conducted by Victoria Arbor found that one ankylosaurid could wind up a hit with a maximum force of 14,360 newtons. This metric was from a Euoplocephalus. Anything larger than this would make the club run the risk of shattering itself. Yes, that's how strong this club is. This weapon would make quick work of any T-Rex's metatarsals and fibula, and possibly strong enough to break the Triceratops's ribcage or front limbs. And if it was lucky, take it out with one blow to the skull.
One shot.
So who takes
they need
the
only
edge?
one shot to win, but
On
if they
one
miss
hand,
it,
you have a
they're
dinosaur
screwed.
that can kill the opponent with a single stab of those horns. On the other, a tail club that can obliterate any bony structure it
Let me know
makes
who you're voting
contact
for
with.
in the comments.
Both have the capability of killing an opponent if the damage
Oh,
is
it's
inflicted
evenly
in the
matched.
correct
Okay,
location,
that's fair
making
enough.
this a draw in close-range weaponry.
Okay.
We are now ready to reveal who will win in an encounter between these two herbivores. Triceratops takes the edge in intelligence and locomotion, while the Ankylosaurus takes the edge in corporal defensive attributes thanks to its suit of armor. Both of these dinosaurs come equal in the damage that those weapons can inflict. By compiling all the collected data, we determined that the Ankylosaurus will win most encounters between these two dinosaurs. This, however, is not the complete verdict. Although it is true that an Ankylosaurus would win most of these encounters, it is unlikely that these victories will result in the Triceratops' death.
Ankylosaurus wins
Let
then.
us explain. In this specific type of encounter, there are a few factors that make the Ankylosaurus win most of these encounters. The first is
did
its
the
height.
one with the Mutus-
If
the
these
male
dinosaurs
Muto,
decide
now
that a bush
this.
is worth squaring up
Oh,
for,
blimey.
the Triceratops would most likely be the first aggressor. The Ankylosaurus' instinctual response to the attack will make it lock itself into its default defensive position, which is lowering its short body and slanting its armored back against the attacker. This defensive stance makes it almost impossible for the Triceratops' horns to wedge under and stab its unprotected underbelly. But realistically, the Triceratops still wouldn't be smart enough to exploit this weakness. A horn strike to the protected part of the Ankylosaurus will only deflect the horns. Not to mention that the Ankylosaurus would have been instinctively hardwired to strike the Triceratops' flanks, possibly breaking its ribs, front limbs, and maybe its frill. The only way a Triceratops would win this fight would be by flipping over the Ankylosaurus.
Yeah,
In the off
that's what I
chance
was
that this
thinking of.
does occur, it would have been by accident. But even this maneuver is highly unlikely,
I was thinking that you
especially if
could
we
flip it over
take
and
these
stab him,
two
that's
horn
what I was
variations
thinking.
into account. A Triceratops that does manage to defeat an Ankylosaurus would most likely be an adult Horridus species. Given the shape of their horns, there is a higher chance for a Horridus to pull off this maneuver than a Prorsus.
That's
Having
what I was
said
thinking
this,
of.
a Triceratops win would have been a far greater fatality rate than an Ankylosaurus victory. The Triceratops has all the tools necessary to kill an Ankylosaurus, but it does not have the cognitive ability to figure out how to use its weapons effectively against this specific opponent.
Okay.
Ironically, a Triceratops would have an easier time facing a T-Rex, since its unprotected body will always be vulnerable against a strike from a trike. Trying to stab something underneath your range of motion is more difficult. In conclusion, the Ankylosaurus would win most of the encounters, but the trike might not get killed. But on the off chance that the trike does win, it's likely that the Ankylosaurus will die. What do you think about this encounter? Are there
I
any
like
other
it, okay.
herbivores that could actually defeat an Ankylosaurus? Let us know what you think in the comments. For more fun face-off documentaries
Depends
and
really
info
on the
about your
aspect
favorite
of-
kaiju, make sure to give us a like and subscribe.
Way ahead
Thank
of
you
ya.
so much for
Way ahead of
watching,
you, bro.
and we will see you in the next
Way ahead of you, brother.
face-off.
Okay, we've got the first sponsors. Patreon, sorry. Well done, well done. Ryan, well done. Everyone, Norma, everyone. Right then, what do I think of that? Right, obviously, why I chose Triceratops, because the Triceratops could just flip it over and then stab it. That's what I was thinking. But the Ankylosaurus one, blimey, I loved how he explains the very details of it. I absolutely love that. It is beautiful how he does it. And looks like I was wrong again. But yeah. But anyway, besides all that, what did you guys think of this video? And I love the fights he does, absolutely brilliant. Next fight that comes up, guys, you know what to do. Drop it in the comments and I'll go straight to it. But besides all that, if you did enjoy this video, guys, please drop a like, share and subscribe and turn notifications so you know when I upload. Get this video to 300 likes or more, maybe 5, 4, make it more. Make loads of likes as you can. And yeah, and let me know what team you on. If you want more dinosaur videos, subscribe. Anyway, guys, I'm going to end it here. Thank you all for tuning in, and I will see you around. Take care, everyone. Have an amazing, amazing, splendid day or night. Peace, guys. Take care. Oh, Triceratops, no!
Splendid.